Ladies and gentlemen, coming up on Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. We're live, talk about a bunch of things here. We're going to break down the crazy cult that is Love Has Won. This is some interesting stuff, but this is like, wow, what a wake-up call. Bill Gates, basically the chemtrail thing, admitted on the news. I'm going to show a clip of that, and then we're going to get into some of the pyramid UFOs that was admitted by the Pentagon, and then we're going to talk about the upcoming release for the government's supposed to talk about all that stuff. And you know, is it going to be much stuff? We don't know. We'll find out. And then also, Pete's got a little surprise about his daughter's past life. It's coming up on Talk is Cheap. Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. I'm your host, Dan Holfeld. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this live episode 168. To my left, Pete Hallblibe in the house.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of planet Earth and beyond. How's everybody doing? I guess I was waiting for a response there, but I'm probably not going to get it. I'll have to wait a little bit, see how folks answer in the chat.
Yeah, I was waiting for the live. Oh, we don't have live studio audience member.
No, and we don't even have any of that canned laughter either, do we? So that's too bad. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Got some of that stuff.
That's always good.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I got my little black cherry root beer. I'm gonna crack this. It's non-alcoholic, of course, folks, but I figured I'd try to join Pete here a little bit.
Yeah. Here we go, Dano.
Let's do a wide shot.
Cheers.
Oh yeah. I figured, what the hell. So, again, folks, we are live today on this episode 168 for Friday, 14th of May.
Boy, 168 episodes, Dan.
Yes.
Holy
and you're
cow.
going to have 169, so that'll be fun.
Nice. Awesome.
You better make it special, extra special.
Yeah, we'll show everybody how limber we are, Dan.
I want to remind those folks that we are on BitChute and now we are on Rumble. BitChute has trouble sometimes. Rumble is a new uploading spot for this show, so go over there and subscribe. I also want to mention the poster contest.
Poster contest.
This will be coming up. June 1st is the end of it here, so if you got any ideas for a new
Couple weeks yet.
theme song, that's what we want to do. Remix our theme contest. Download the link is in the description for this. You can remix it. Again, submitted by June 1st. Upload it to YouTube or another video platform. Higher quality equals better. And send that link to k2d4network@gmail.com and we'll listen to it. And it could be the next theme song of this show.
Yep.
And
not into music. Send nudes to that same email address then, right, Dan?
Send junk. I got my source for that, so don't worry about that.
Right on.
But we got the poster over here. We'll that's the winner there. We'll send it out to you, and you can have us sign it, all that good stuff, and yeah, maybe put a dirty message on there. For you.
We'll put a customized message on there for you.
8 inches.
8 inches.
So
hey, Chad.
Before we get started, I also want to say a big thanks to our Patreon supporters. This is what keeps the show going. We've been in some tough times. It's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
We have $1, $5, and now a $10 supporter. That's our gold tier.
Wow.
So thank you very much, Rainbow Warrior. Shout out on the show for you.
Yes.
It helps us to that extra oomph and keep us going.
Yeah, expenses are tough. Dan keeps the studio up top notch, but it does take some upkeep. So we really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We have a voicemail, and then we're going to get into the Love Has Won cult stuff, so stay tuned for that.
I'm looking forward to that discussion.
This is crazy. But voicemail first. Let's listen to this guy. This is a caller by unknown, location unknown.
Ooh.
Cuba is not a communist country, despite what the Jewish communist news networks have always told the brainwashed Anglo-Saxons in America. Cuba is not a communist country. They are nationalist socialists, just like Germany was before the real murderers of the free world destroyed Germany, which were the communist Jews who run America today. But the average retarded American knows nothing about true history. But the Communist Manifesto is here in America. America has always been a communist country. The only reason that it's been well hidden, there's a book, and I highly recommend that you educate yourselves on this book. Maybe you have, I don't know. But you need to talk about it. The book is called Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley. He talks about what's going on right now in America. Communism is being in effect all over the world, and the fake called 19 is being used to springboard it. They've tried to do this several times by using pandemics before, but it didn't work, such as the swine flu fraud pandemic of 1976, which was a complete fraud. The pharmaceutical companies are owned by the Communist Jewish Manifesto here in America. The Communist Jews also are in control of Israel today. These are not Jews. These are Khazars. Anyone do their real history will find this out. There's a book called The International Jew by the writer was Henry Ford, the car industrialist. That book was brought out in 1920. I highly recommend that you read that book. Don't bother buying it from JewishAmazon.com, but I highly recommend that you try to find it on PDF to read it, or try to find it from someone who has an actual copy of these books, Tragedy and Hope, The International Jew, The World's Foremost Problem by Henry Ford. And there's another book called War is a Racket by General Smedley Butler. He talks very indefinite about America. It's basically using the troops to go all over the world, these so-called Jews, to take over the world's resources.
All right.
Well, that was interesting. Very well spoken, gentleman, and seemed to know what like he was talking about. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that Henry Ford was not a big fan of Jewish folks. He actually supported both sides of the war in WW2. Don't know much about Carol Quigley, though.
Yeah, so I got both of those books on screens for those folks who wanted to remember. It's Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley and The International Jew by Henry Ford.
I think it's funny because before we started, we were worried about getting, blocked on YouTube and stuff, and this might do
That's
it.
what I was thinking. It's like they made the word Jew into a swear word now.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So I think this one's been going to be axed. So those of us joining us live, enjoy it.
I censored, like, when he was talking about the C to the V to the X.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? And I was listening to this other podcast that was like still on YouTube, and they were censoring the word VOTE. It's like,
what?
Can we not say that anymore? It's like, look how conditioned we're getting.
Yeah.
And this brings up this. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki gets Freedom of Expression Award sponsored by YouTube.
Oh my, what? Oh my God.
You can't make this stuff
up. Okay, whatever, man. As long as you're expressing their views of freedom, you're just fine, Dan. And then you can say whatever you want. Oh, that's funny. Hey, I'm going to digress here. You said a really interesting comment that made me think. It's like, what, we can't say words anymore. And if you remember, Dan, a couple months ago now, maybe longer, I don't know, I lose track with the whole V to the A, the vid thing,
V to the A to the X,
or the C to the O to the V to the I to the D stuff, because it blurs. The last year and some months have blurred. But anyway, at one point I had made mention that Why are there hieroglyphs on UFOs and all these things, and that's typically something that's like we think of as like ancient Egypt and stuff. And you had made a comment at the time. He goes, well, you said something about, communication language is going to go to more visual. I'm like, yeah, whatever, how's that? And then you said, well, look at emojis. And I'm like, oh, and blew my mind. And the door opened up. And, maybe this is just like another step into getting us into more of a visual written language, is that, we're not going to say words or write words. We're going to just communicate in
and then
pictures.
Like a lot of people talk in circles around stuff just to get around saying it.
Yeah.
Like David Wilcock, when he's doing his live streams, what the hell does he say for he calls Billy Boy, who we're going to talk about, Mr. V to the A to the X captain here.
Yeah.
He calls him this lead singer of the Bee Gees. So it's just like, what the
That's how he refers to him?
So, unless you...
I get it. Yeah. BG, right? Yeah, I get it.
There's one more thing I was going to do before we get in. Oh, yeah. I want to mention this on the show because we did this test experiment last night. People who are getting the V to the A to the X in their arm, you can put a magnet on that and it sticks to their skin.
Dan verified this. I'm taking his word
last
for
night,
it.
Two separate people. I think we blew their mind. The one person was just like, you could see it on his face. He was
couldn't believe it.
Shocked, I tell you. And when we did that experiment, I was like, I don't expect this to work. I've seen it on the internet. Let's try it. Sure enough, then I typed it into the search results. This was on DuckDuckGo too, but Snopes comes up. It says this is false. Fact check false. Well, what the hell just happened there?
Yeah, but your first problem is to believe that Snopes tells you the truth to begin with. It's like you and me going into the basement and doing Googling and making determinations, and somehow they become experts. It's crazy. Hey, we have someone joining from Japan. Welcome.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Wonder what time it is over there.
I was just going to ask. It's got to be a pretty different time than here.
Maybe it's the morning.
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to do a news alert for this one. This is all right.
Oh, that was it. I was waiting for wait. Okay.
7 arrested after spiritual leader's mummified body found decorated with Christmas lights in Colorado home. I'm going to play the news report here, and then we'll break it down.
Released tonight, and 7 people in custody after the gruesome discovery of a mummified woman's body in a private house.
The woman was a controversial spiritual leader of a group that some claim is a Southern Colorado cult. KRDO News Channel 13 Sydney Stell joins us live in the newsroom now with these new details. Sydney.
Well, we learned today that police found 45-year-old Leah Carlson's mummified body in the bedroom of a home in the tiny town of Moffett in Saguache County. I do want to warn you, though, some of these new details are very disturbing.
When Miguel Lamboy got to his home in Moffett Wednesday, he discovered the mummified remains of Leah Carlson, also known as Amy. Believed to be the leader of a controversial spiritual group called Love Has Won, Lamboy is a member too. Members of the group called her Mother God. She is reportedly claimed to be Jesus. Lamboy discovered her remains in a sort of shrine in his back bedroom. He reported that she was wrapped in a sleeping bag and Christmas lights, had glitter eye makeup on, and her eyes had been removed. The night before he found the body, 5 people showed up at his home asking for a place to stay. It's unclear if they were also part of the spiritual group. Police have now arrested these 7 people for abuse of a corpse. No charges yet related to Carlson's death. They will all be in court tomorrow. Saguache County is almost 90 miles from Colorado Springs. The sheriff's office was already aware of Love Has Won because in the past, families have complained that the group is brainwashing people and stealing their money. While it's still unclear how Carlson died, we know her health was failing last fall when she took a trip to Hawaii with other members of the group who ended up speaking with the media.
By the way, I'll break this down more, but they went to Hawaii to do their thing. The Hawaiians kicked them out of there. That's how much of a cult these people are. They didn't want them there.
What were they doing there to disturb people?
We'll break down the organization here in a minute.
Her lives up to her chest. Her lungs are going at this point.
And while members of Love Has Won maintain that they're a spiritual group, many have alleged they're part of a cult.
That word has a very negative connotation, and I feel it's used against people in a way just of something they don't understand and maybe just can't accept.
Now, all 7 of those arrested will have their first court appearance tomorrow in Saguache County. Love Has Won has now taken down their website, and they've declined to comment. Live from our newsroom, I'm Sydney Stell, KRDO News Channel 13.
So I want to make a quick comment here before I'm going to go on FB and post on my feed to challenge my friends to put the magnet on their arm. But anyway, the only difference between, or actually I shouldn't say the difference, but if you have a cult, if you have enough members of it, they just start calling it a religion.
By the way, that
FYI.
word's probably a bad word to say on here too.
Yeah, who knows?
But we said it enough.
Yeah. Government knows best. Follow the government. Do what the government says. Maybe that will counteract it. You know.
Oh, maybe
put it at the top of lists.
Yeah. So the leader, who we just knew, you know, they found that corpse laying in the house. It's Amy Carlson, known as Mother God, and she's.
Is that her there?
No, she's gonna give us a breakdown of the whole organization. I
was gonna say she looks way different than that other picture.
She was saying outrageous stuff like Donald Trump's her father. Robin Williams came after he died and starts helping the team. And then again, they moved from Colorado to Florida to Hawaii to California back to Colorado. She does crazy stuff like sleep deprivation to her followers in that group. Yep. So they're only allowed to sleep from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. They do food rationing. You can see a lot of them are it's kind of sickly on camera because they're not getting enough. Those 2 girls look decent, I guess, but you can see. And by the way, this group went on Dr. Phil. Like the Amy's mom and her sister were so worried about her that they got her on Dr. Phil, and you could see her health was failing. And the only reason I really bring up this group a lot is because this kind of is a big group in the spiritual New Age movement. And if you actually haven't heard about them, it's, well, I guess the only reason I heard about them is because I wonder if I'm lagging here. She called me on a voicemail many years ago.
Really?
And I tried to return her phone call, and then I started realizing how out of her mind this person was after. I didn't get to talk to her directly, but she left a voicemail, and then I left a voicemail, and then one of her minions called me, and then it was like the way it was left on the phone was like I was trying to get a hold of them when it's like, no, you try to get a hold of me. I'm trying to return your call. And it just, I left it at that, but it's like,
oh, that's interesting.
And then also in this group, you're not allowed to say I think. You have to say I feel. And then they're basically living off all these donations, and it's crazy stuff. They build all their products and all this stuff, and some of it.
Did they make soap?
I would bring up the product page. I bet you they did. I would bring up the product page, but the website's down.
Yeah, those types of cults usually make soap.
So let me. This YouTuber is going to break down the group a little bit so they have a better understanding.
Love Has Won are a tax-exempt 501c3 registered spiritual New Age cult that believe that God is on Earth in the form of a woman named Amy Carlson.
God's on the planet in a wheelchair.
They also operate a company called Gaia's Whole Healing Essentials, where they sell everything from plasma healing spray to colloidal silver products allegedly made from scrap metal. The followers.
By the way, that colloidal silver, Amy, you could see it in the Dr. Phil interview that, and I use colloidal silver. I'm a big, my camera switcher's not working here. And I use colloidal silver because I'm a big proponent of the silver taking away any, bacteria and all that.
So you drink it, or?
You can drink it. You can put some eye drops in wherever you need it. Don't overdo it, number one. And number two, these people made their own, and you can see it. There's a big case of this guy turning grayish skin because he made his own, and they're making their own. And you can see it in the Dr. Phil video that she has gray skin. So,
really?
Yeah. So
they're not doing something right. They're cooking down lead acid batteries and skimming the stuff off the top or something.
It's crazy stuff.
All right, this is
believe
interesting.
that Amy is here to save humanity from the dark forces known as the Cabal.
The Cabal is not going to come home into the light. So they don't have souls. They're going to get recycled.
Mom had a vision where she walked into Cabal headquarters, which is in Miami.
Her daughters?
Yes! Cabal! Well,
they say mom, but it's just they call her mother.
Yeah, Mother God. Yeah, that's right.
And by the way, I just lost my train of thought now.
Sorry. I want to go back to see what that guy was yelling about.
All right, screw it.
You know what, Cabal minions? Did you really think you were going to get away with eating children? fucking
Ooh.
ass flies.
Love Has Won claims that the Cabal are trying to keep humanity in a low vibration, three-dimensional Earth, while Amy is fighting hard behind the scenes to raise the vibrations so that we can ascend to the fifth dimension.
For Mom, it's like she just has to focus on 5D.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of this is like, kind of what we've been talking about on here. That it was even funny because on Dr. Phil they're talking about 5D Earth and stuff.
That looks like the Isetti Ranch a little bit.
Only 144,000 of us will make it, and the rest will be recycled into the galactic sun.
Thank you for all atoms out of right action with Mother Source, Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, my queen, are being commanded into galactic central sun for recycling.
They call Amy Mother God, and they say that she is the prime source creator, here to help us as we shift to the next dimension. Now, their beliefs aren't new, and they're definitely not original. The majority of what Love Has Won espouse are elements from major religions, New Age spiritualism, and conspiracy theories, all packaged up into a neat little cult dedicated to the worship of one woman, Amy Carlson.
There's nobody in creation that could have done this besides me. Nobody would have made it. Someone already disliked the video. What do you dislike about it? Because you dislike yourself?
Really? That was hilarious.
Alongside her is a man called Jason Castillo, known to followers as Father God.
You know how they give the shit to the fucking. You hear that word? It's a cockroach. It's the fucking lowest form that hates God. That's what a is. It's nothing to do with color. They switch that around on you too. Trigger, 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 trigger. They've turned you into a fucking slave.
He is believed to be the sixth man to hold this title so far. Amy claims to have created herself from all of the energies of love and the unknown. And if
All right, I'm going to stop it there.
I want to watch the rest of that.
This is actually, I'm going to put this link in the description if you.
Yeah.
This goes through all of it. It's almost actually an hour long, but I watched the whole thing. I was pretty interested.
Yeah, that was interesting for me.
Lady did a very good job of breaking this down. There's crazy stuff. Even go watch the Dr. Phil episode because they actually pulled out a lot of stuff. Like, she's supposed to be like, this loving spiritual cult. I shouldn't say cult, but the movement. But she's like bitching on camera. They're like, and it's like you can tell like
Jesus would do that.
Well, she's drinking and smoking, and then they say they don't do drugs, but then they talk about them doing shrooms and all this other stuff, and it's like, don't say one thing when you do it, and then you can tell she just went off her rocker because she started drinking all the time.
Yep.
And like, what the hell?
Well,
So I just wanted to bring this up because this was kind of a leading thing in the movement, if you will. Especially when you kind of take over the
I'll admit she's got some good looking followers though, man.
Oh yeah, here's a former member speaking out about some of this stuff going on. So from the horse's mouth.
One of the main things was the sleep deprivation. Amy did in fact lie on Dr. Phil, and the members backed her up, which is even sadder because all the members know how it is because they're members. And because I lived with all of them, and it's the truth. She only lets us sleep 4 hours. We have to wake up every day at 5 a.m. We start live stream at 6. Everything is revolved around Amy. I came out with all these amazing herbal supplements, and pretty much I don't get the credit, she does. All the money that came from the herbal supplements, that came from things that we create and that we make, it all goes to Amy because Amy is considered God in that experience. So in that experience, you also can only go out into 3D when she commands you. You can't go out if you like to go out on your own, like you're really not supposed to. And then when you decide to be out longer than she wanted you to be out, you get told you're a Lilith whore, you're in Lucifer, you're in your ego. So these are some things that I really had to touch on.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff. Crazy.
Oh, that is, that's a good question, Sock Puppet. I mean, yeah, people are just looking for acceptance. Some people, through upbringing, neglect, whatever, just they latch on, they find attention, and will do anything to fit in,
And that's the other thing too. If you get into this and you're going there looking for a spiritual awakening, you're kind of lost in your life. You're sick of your 9-to-5 job. So you go out there to try to have this, and then they start sleep depriving you, start depriving you of, you know, I think they said they only get like 1 meal a day or something like that.
Hopefully it's a big one.
So then all of a sudden you're kind of controlled that way.
Yep.
So I think that's a good lead in for your past life.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Exactly.
Dan, I don't know how, a couple years ago now, we did an episode on the past life memories of children. And I believe it's the University of Virginia that to this day still has staff members that are researching it. They've documented thousands of cases of this. So anyway, you know, I don't talk about a whole heck of a lot on this show, but I have a daughter. She's about 2 3/4. And so, you know, at the age now where she's talking pretty good, and, you know, stringing sentences along and stuff. And now twice now, the first time it happened with mom around too, we were on the couch, and I can't, you know, it was weird the first time, and we gave each other a look and was like, whoa, that was weird. But she briefly mentioned something. The first instance I recall, she was talking about how long ago she did something or something like that that wasn't related to being a little kid. Well, about a week and a half ago, I picked her up from daycare. I'm driving home, and she starts telling me stories about when she was a big person. And the two things that really stuck with me, and I'm driving down the road, and, you know, and she says, Daddy, when I was a big person, I used to be in airplanes. And I was like, whoa, really? What? Oh, that's interesting. You used to be in airplanes? Yep. And you used to be a big person? Oh, yes. And, you know, I said, like, what kind of airplane? Or I said, what were you doing? And she didn't really give me any specific details. And then she went on to tell me about how when she was a big person, she used to ride horses. And I said, you know, the same kind of thing. Oh, what kind of horses? What colors were they? And she really didn't, you know, expand. I don't know. So nothing real verifiable, but talk about getting the willies. So folks, stay tuned as these things arise. I'm going to be more and more in tune and paying closer attention, and as well as encouraging her to share and say that's, you know, and not tell her that she's wrong or, you know, she's being silly or funny or whatever, but like take her seriously. So
because these are the prime times, like she's going to start losing memory if this is a past life.
By like 6 or 7, according to the studies, all of those past lives are gone because they're conditioned to the
so
new
if you
life.
could try to get in there, get small details like what if the plane had props or if it was a jet engine, and then start putting the pieces together. You know, maybe it was Wild West days with props.
Yep.
Or I suppose I actually don't even. I told you I'm bad with history.
Yeah, right. Wild West days with airplanes. Okay. I asked her what they called her, what her name was, and she said she didn't know. So I'm trying to glean some information out of her.
Maybe you could look her up or something.
Yeah, well, it would be kind of neat. And I was really hoping that she could have said something about it was on a 727. You know, offer me something that I know that she wouldn't know about. But anyway, thought that was interesting, worthy of mention on here. And stay tuned, folks, because if something happens, you'll be the first to know.
By the way, Sock Puppet in the chat said, "Who killed Amy?" She had some health issues and she just died. And what happened is she died in California, and these people put her in their truck and drove her
back to Colorado.
Body to the And the guy that put him up for for I don't know if it was a while, they put him up in his house, found the body in the back of the house there, and they had it all like a shrine and everything. And it's like, holy shit.
Oh, that's creepy.
I should have mentioned that detail. I'm glad you asked that, Sock Puppet, because you can see it when her health was going down. That's probably why she started drinking a lot, but it just got worse.
Sock Puppet asked, what's the people who did the research on all the cases? You mean for the past life memories? If you're on the internet, just, you know, type in the search bar, University of Virginia past lives.
There you go. Have her draw some pictures. That's a good idea.
Oh, excellent. You know, and she's not quite there with her motor skills yet to draw pictures, but soon. I mean, I'm thinking the next 2 years here is going to be key, but that's an excellent question or suggestion. Thank you.
So I was going to show this video at the beginning. I forgot. So I'm going to play it right now for you, Pete, because you were
I was
waiting for it.
And you weren't going to tell me. You didn't even tell me what it was about. I guessed. I'll see if I'm right.
This is a person putting in gas at a gas station.
In a bag.
In a grocery bag. Oh, shoot.
Look, she's leaking all over.
There's copyrights on there, but get that off. Okay, yeah. Look at that.
And she's not going to. Oh.
Yeah, and there's actually already reports of some people cars blowing up because they're hoarding all this gas.
So you want to know the kind of people that join cults? Who asked that question? There's a candidate, man, right there.
This is Generation Idiot is what we're dealing with here.
She was older too, though. That's the thing, man. She's older than we were.
To quote Nonpoint, and Generation Idiot accumulates. This is such a good song.
Oh, Nick says that video's from last year.
What? Really? I'm surprised because...
You know, that could happen anywhere, to be honest with you. Anytime.
Yeah,
that happens every day. It's not on video.
Well, actually, yeah. I'm sure it's happening right now, though, too. So, all right, we'll transition on over to the Bee Gees chemtrail thing here.
Wild women. Arizona. The ripping and the tearing.
Sorry,
I accidentally pushed the wrong button, but dang it. All right, so Bill Gates, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we were crazy for saying that this stuff was going to happen. I thought this was very important to play this video. This is off of CNBC, their YouTube channel, and they're basically admitting aerosol spraying.
The record number of fires burning across Brazil's Amazon rainforest has prompted renewed global outcry over climate change. And big spending. $5 million from Leonardo DiCaprio, £10 million from the UK. Meanwhile, Bill Gates is backing the first high-altitude experiment of one radical climate change solution, creating a massive chemical cloud that could cool the Earth. It's called solar geoengineering, and it's highly controversial.
How long will it be that countries keep experiencing these climate impacts before someone gets desperate and says, hey, we need to cool the planet with solar geoengineering?
It would look something like this. Thousands of planes would fly very high and use nozzles to inject millions of tons of light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere.
What? Isn't that what we've been saying for how many years? And now it's just admitted?
It's a conspiracy, Dan. It's all made up.
Oh my God.
It would create a thin chemical cloud of those particles around the whole planet, blocking some sunlight from reaching the surface. It would mimic a giant volcanic eruption, which we know cools the Earth.
So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
So hold on. So there's some problems with this too. You know, eventually the stuff's going to come down, right? So we got to continually spray.
If they get it high enough, it won't come back down. It goes out into the atmosphere.
Oh God.
It's so stupid. They've been doing this for a while. All right, we got some proof here. This is on in5d.com. I'm gonna say a little FYI right now. Not all these are going to be chemtrail planes, and I'll explain them as we go through them. But these are important to look at. This is going to be hard for audio listeners.
Oh, I've seen that photo before.
So you know what this one is?
No, the top one I don't. I've seen the bottom one before.
Yeah. So some of these tanks too, we got to be careful. Because every time I saw a tank like this in a plane, I always thought, that's a chemtrail plane. But they can be used to shift the weight in the plane for
ballast,
for testing people moving on the plane.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
because they pump liquids from one side to the other and stuff, right, in the different things.
Yeah. So this is obviously a spraying one here. This is what is that? A beat? It's not a.
I don't know my planes that well.
This one's a big tank in the center. This is obviously a nozzle, and I've talked about this before for cloud seeding. So this could be just a cloud seeding plane.
I wonder if that is potentially a crop duster.
Or yes, crop duster too as well.
It's a smaller plane, but
Great point.
Crop dusters are usually pretty small. But I don't. Again,
there's a tank one.
Oh, that the guy's spraying stuff.
This is two.
Dude, that is old school, man. Look
two
at
lines
that.
Straight out of the plane there in the back. This one's like a disc and
weird.
A bunch of nozzles in a circle. Again, the tanks
for the
can't be verified on that.
Well, they could just say that too. And there's Bruce Willis. It wasn't Bruce Willis.
These are just like separate hoppers, I guess.
Yeah. There's that same picture that we just saw. I think just a little wider. Yeah, they're definitely spraying something.
Oh, that's a lot of nozzles.
That could have been Agent Orange, maybe from Vietnam.
Yeah, I mean this is all admitted stuff. Agent Orange, and
we've sprayed stuff out of planes forever, man.
I'm gonna scroll through these pretty quick because there's a lot of them. There was a couple. So these are some of these for those listening on audio. There's some that look like beer kegs that are just stacked up inside.
Fun.
These are where we're getting to kind of the joke ones. I think people did some of this stuff for fun. I think there's a switch for the airplane and it says chemtrail on it.
Yeah, that's.
And then there's also going to be patches when we come down here.
Oh, that's interesting.
See, this looks like almost looks like a big boiler inside of a plane.
Yeah.
And then they're running the exhaust out the side.
And the guy's got like sitting in a chair there.
Again, there's the discs ones. It looks like double of those. Nozzles apparently for that one. So yeah, it just goes on and on.
There's lots of photos.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So,
here.
and you know what, Dan? What's interesting here is that, you know what? A lot of these could be maybe easily explained or faked or whatever. But if a single one of them is real, then chemtrails is a deal. And
yeah, so these patches, I'm pretty sure are fake.
Yeah, I'm guessing
it was a joke. You can actually find these patches on the internet, but I don't know why the pilots are making a joke out of this. It's kind of bad. This was like sewn right on his suit. I don't know. They could have been photoshopped in, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't believe much anymore when you see that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there's your chemtrail patent.
Yeah. I mean, it's in your face. So, and then you get them talking about, Bill Gates doing it. So it's right there for everybody who's paying attention. All right, let's transition on over to our UFO section, I think, and we'll get down with that.
Good morning.
All right. So, again, with the Navy, this was the USS Russell, recorded in July of 2019. And naval officers recorded this video of the pyramid-shaped craft above the destroyer there. So let's play this clip as well.
Meantime, UFO sightings in New York have nearly doubled since the pandemic began, and we are getting new video from the Navy showing pyramid-shaped objects flying in the sky. Brian Yennis is live for us in Brooklyn, New York. Brian, good morning.
Trace, good morning. This extraordinary video and images of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, were leaked to investigative reporter Jeremy Corbell and investigative reporter George Knapp. This night vision video purportedly shows 3 pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the coast of California in July of 2019. At one point, these UFOs reportedly hovered just 700 feet above the tail of the Navy destroyer, making, quote, extraordinary maneuvers. Now, Corbell says the unclassified video is part of a classified government report intended to educate officials about unidentified crafts flying over restricted airspace.
Now, pay attention when Corbell comes on towards the end of this news clip. The way he kind of spins it is really weird for a UFO guy.
These cell phone photos taken by a FA-18 pilot in March of 2019 show 3 different unidentified aircrafts off the coast of Oceania, including 2 UFOs dubbed the Metallic Blimp and another called the Sphere. A Department of Defense spokesperson said, quote, "I can confirm that the referenced photos and videos were taken by Navy personnel. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force has included these incidents in their ongoing examinations." However, the Pentagon was unwilling to confirm these 3 photos, which Corbell says came from the USS Omaha, showing a UFO diving into the ocean and disappearing.
Wow.
That is an extraordinary piece of technology. Whoever is operating these technologies are far more advanced than anything we have in the U.S. arsenal, and that should be a warning sign. We need to find out the intent of the operators of these vehicles.
Intent.
Extraterrestrial or not, a bombshell UFO report is expected in June from the U.S. government. Trace.
Look forward.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pushing the Luis Elizondo thing again, where it's like, well, we don't know what it is.
Yep.
We got to find out what it is.
It's scary because the amount of countries that hate the U.S. right now, man. If this is, Russian, Iranian, what have you, man. It could be bad news.
Yeah, so that brings me to this. So apparently, Harry Reid says Vladimir Putin is behind the UFO pyramid that swarmed the U.S. ship.
You know, Russia's is decades ahead of the U.S. on mind control stuff. They spent a lot of money on that too.
But this is going back to. This is kind of what I'm thinking the report might be poo-pooed, because they're already leading into just another. And this is the problem, because Luis Elizondo says it's not another country. Remember, he said that multiple times that it's not. And now Harry Reid wants to blame it on Russia again.
Yep.
Well, Russia's responsible for something. So, yeah, that's that. Again, now here was a interesting thing. Pentagon just admitted to testing UFO wreckage, but what did they discover? This was actually out for a while. This is off of MSN News.
February 16th.
So, Pentagon have admitted to testing wreckage they gathered from UFO crashes. Researcher Anthony Bargalia did a FOIA request over 3 years ago. 154-page results regarding a mysterious memory metal called Netinol.
Netinol, yeah. That memory metal is, I remember as a small child hearing about that.
Which can remember its original shape when folded. Now, they talk about this all the time on the Roswell case, and here it is in your face. It's a stunning admission by the U.S. government that it possesses UFO debris. Much of the report details are redacted. The Netinol had similar properties to the memory metal found near Roswell, New Mexico crash in 1947.
Man, those weather balloons are made out of some good stuff, huh?
Yeah, they should keep on it and reverse engineer that stuff, huh? Yeah, so you're going to be breaking this down in an upcoming episode. Do you want to just give a little tease?
Yeah, you know, on the next episode in a couple weeks coming out, I'm going to take a little deeper dive into this, the June 25th requirement, how that came around. On June 25th, they're going to be disclosing a bunch of UFO, or I shouldn't say UFO, unidentified aerial phenomena information that has been collected and gathered. And we'll stay tuned. We'll talk a little bit more about it. I don't want to ruin it too much here, but we're going to take a little deeper dive into that because it's coming up quick. What can we expect?
Sounds good. So as this whole disclosure narrative is getting closer and closer, and they start preparing the public, we got here the Society of Catholic Scientists prepares for conference on non-human intelligence. The Society of Catholic Scientists will hold its 2021 conference in Washington, D.C. on the subject of non-human intelligence.
Are you talking to dolphins or something?
The conference is titled Extraterrestrials, AI, and Minds Beyond the Human, and will take place at the Hilton Hotel from June 4th to 6th. Conference discussions will provide scientific and theoretical insights on the subject of real and hypothetical intelligences, especially extraterrestrial and artificial intelligences. 13 talks. Half of the talks are going to be about.
So 6.5 of the talks are going to be about, maybe one of the talks should be about math, man. Sorry.
So there you go. In religion now, that's why they're gonna start
Catholic News Agency. You know, it was groundbreaking years ago. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago now, when the Pope came out and said there's room for religion and extraterrestrial life. So he's trying to open the door for us a little bit.
Oh yeah. So that was all the UFO stuff. Did you want to touch upon anything else?
No.
We're kind of rolling through the show. You're really quick. You're pretty quiet.
Yeah. You know, I'm processing a lot, Dan. You've got some good stuff here.
All right. No, don't stress your brain too.
Yeah. No.
I wanted to bring this up because we might as well get some changeover music.
I think that sounds pretty good.
Now, changing subjects a little bit.
All right, you talked with Rand Paul. Did the what was it? The poll, the Christmas thing. Rand Paul.
Oh, Rand Paul. Yeah. The Festivus list.
Festivus.
Yeah. The Festivus report.
So
Thank
you were talking about waste of money. All the government spends its spends its money on useless things such as shrimp on a treadmill. I'm going to play this clip from Ron Paul. I thought it was really interesting.
This is interesting.
And
yes. The poll, the Festivus poll. Nice.
I'm gonna have to run out to the bathroom. I was gonna try to wait till after the show, but it's just coming up on me. So I'm gonna play this, and
that black cherry soda's running through.
It is. It must be. That's the way it goes. So here, I'll leave this to you.
All right.
This bill has been devised as a way to counter China by spending government funds through the National Science Foundation, about $10 billion a year. I think it's important before we add $10 billion a year to the National Science Foundation, this will be Paul Amendment 2, that we look at a little bit of how successful they've been. We haven't authorized them in years, but we just keep funding them. They currently spend about $8 billion, so this would more than double their budget. Government, as we all know, lacks the profit motive and is inherently less efficient than the marketplace. Congress has doled out money again and again to the National Science Foundation only to see the money wasted decade after decade. There's no evidence that it will be any different this time. In 1975, the conservative Democrat William Proxmire criticized the NSF for spending $84,000 to try to find out why people fall in love. Now, 45 years later, the NSF is still spending money, $585,000 to be exact, to find out how people fall in love, studying online dating habits. The late Senator Coburn similarly criticized the NSF for wasting money. I'm sure we've all heard of the infamous shrimp on a treadmill, the nearly $700,000 project to run a shrimp on an underwater treadmill. That's not all. $700,000 in money that was to be spent on autism research was subgranted to study whether Neil Armstrong, when he stepped on the moon, said, "One small step for man," or "one small step for a man." That was $700,000 worth of autism research. This is the group you're wanting to give the money to. In the end, they listened to the tape over and over, the crackly tape from the moon, and they couldn't decide.
Was it pretty good?
So what does that have to do with China?
Appalling.
Well, some in Congress want to pour tens of billions more into this very agency, the National Science Foundation, putting it not only in charge of science, but technology research as well. How well will the money be spent? Let's look at what they did with the money they already have. $1.5 million to study how to improve how tomatoes taste. Researchers determined that adding sugar would help. What about $188,000 to study why Americans won't use the metric system? $30,000 to study gambling habits in Uganda, and $500,000 to study if you take a selfie of yourself while smiling and look at it later in the day, whether that will make you happy.
Like, what the hell?
Unless studying selfies is somehow a deterrent to China, what Congress is doing with this new effort is supercharging the next generation of government waste. If you're unwilling to fix the waste that currently exists in the National Science Foundation, there's no expectation they're going to do better this time. Increasing dollar amounts and expanding mandates is not the answer. We need government accountability to unleash private investment and to get Congress out of these funding decisions. Otherwise, we'll just keep borrowing money from China, hoping that the debt to them will stop their rising influence. Hardly a recipe for success. My amendment would attempt to pay for the $10 billion a year.
All right, we don't have to bore everybody.
But
crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's nuts. That it's right out of the Festivus report. Isn't it crazy?
And isn't the whole synopsis that this is just slush fund money? Is that what it is?
Well, I think...
Or are they actually doing this stuff?
I think that in some cases they're setting up like quote unquote experiments, but not like, $2 million worth and stuff.
They use a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's $10 through the shrimp. We'll take the millions.
Yeah. Right. And I'm sure that there's wheels being greased along the way. I don't necessarily know if the National Science Foundation is like funding black budget stuff or, things like that. I'm guessing that it's just going into, new buildings or, and yachts and vacations and conferences in Hawaii and stuff,
Yeah, there's a bunch of loopholes so they can get a lot of money. I mean, a lot of them are overpaid to begin with.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
For what they're doing. I mean, heck, they want to see a shrimp on a treadmill. I'll do it for half price, You
should, get that organization going. Yeah. Get her up. So this here is very interesting. CNN Politics, this is on their website, and we know CNN is fake news, but U.S. investigating possible mysterious directed energy attack near White House. Ooh. This was published on April 29th, 2021.
Was it Trump supporters?
Federal agencies are investigating at least 2 possible incidents on U.S. soil, including one near the White House in November of last year. Mysterious, invisible attacks that have led to debilitating symptoms for dozens of U.S. personnel abroad.
Yeah, remember the ones in Cuba, right? It was Cuba.
Yeah, investigating the incident as possible Havana syndrome attack. Complaints that include ear popping, vertigo, pounding headaches, and nausea, sometimes accompanied by unidentified piercing directional noise.
Oh, that would suck.
We got another spot here. A March report from the National Academy of Sciences found that directed pulsed radio frequency energy was most likely cause of strange set of symptoms. Incidents could be attacks attributing to afflictions to pulsed or directed energy. Some personnel have been seriously injured from the attacks, with at least one career CIA officer forced to retire last year and diagnosed with traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, he walked too close to the source, apparently.
So yeah, you can, like, Jesse Ventura did a show on this, the directed energy. Well, yeah, he did. I think he did directed energy too, but he even did the is it the word of God or sound of God or something like that, where they can beam voices in your head.
Oh,
make
yeah.
people go crazy. This is why, like, when the white hats want to play this long game and wait to bring stuff down, like, if there is a plan, I don't even know anymore. They have stuff like this, like crazy stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Fry the inside of your organs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. You know, when we did the medical test stuff, you know, they were, what's the name of those heat ray guns that they use for crowd control and stuff? I mean, you just twist the dial a little bit and you can, you know, get all sorts of different frequencies out of that. Oh, what do they call that?
Oh, I guess Voice of God was the name of what I was just talking about. They said in the chat here.
Microwave auditory effects, Voice of God.
It's crazy stuff, and it's just right there. And when you want to play a long game to get people to wake up, I mean, they're gonna stop at no stops. Like right now, when they're doing this audit in AZ, now they have to move the ballots. I can't even know if I can say half of these words that I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're moving them because I think there's a circus or something that has to use that arena. So they're in the middle of counting. They had to pack everything up
move.
I just watched the cameras today before I came out to do the show. It's all packed up. They were only like not even halfway done. They have a lot left to do, but anything can go wrong when you're taking those for, like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
They could say a crazy person shot a rocket at this truck transporting the ballots. I mean, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, right.
You're playing with fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, it gives it opportunities for nefarious acts to occur while the pack up, tear down transport's taking place.
I don't know. They still say that it's gonna come out and all that. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I'm pretty disappointed with the direction things are going. But
yeah, not a lot of movement, huh?
Other than that, I guess, Pete, that was it. Unless you wanted to.
What else?
Add something else to the show. I mean, we don't need to drag it out longer if there's nothing there. But thank you guys for watching the show today. Much appreciated. We're a little short today, obviously, because I couldn't talk about a lot of things. I had a whole list of stuff I planned on talking, but if people don't know, the last live episode got pulled from YouTube because I was against medical advice.
You're giving bad medical advice according to all the doctors at YouTube.
So it's very frustrating. It's starting to be like walking on eggshells when you do a show, and I really don't like that myself.
Yeah. Land of the free, Dan.
Home of the week, or I got with the thumbnail was Weak and Proud with Joe Biden going up on that chair.
Nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end the show here. Thank you guys for watching again. The poster contest. If you want to take part in that, be the next host on the show. We'd be much appreciated. Get that seat filled and
send nudes.
Yeah. Well, take care.
But.